Hey guys, this is Coded Steel and welcome to your 10th tutorial in the C programming language. Today we're going to do something that's a little more practical than going through tutorials. Today we're actually going to do our first program that actually does something that's pretty useful. We're going to create something called the absolute value function. So for those of you who don't know what the absolute value function is, I guess I can give you a quick basics as to what it is. You can look it up for further detail than this, but basically what it does is it tells you your distance from zero. We don't care about the direction, whether it's positive or negative. We care about the distance from zero. So the way an absolute value is taken is it's just the positive value of a number. So if you have 48, the positive value of 48 is 48. If you have negative 97, the positive value of negative 97 is 97. That's basically it. We don't care about whether it's positive, negative. We just care about how far away is it from zero. That's the basics on an absolute value function. That goes a little further into detail than that, but we're not concerned with all that stuff. So the first thing we got to do to start creating our absolute value function is we're going to declare a variable. Actually, we're going to declare a few variables. We're going to do a result as well. And then we're going to start our while loop. And in the side of the parameters of the while loop, I'm going to put a while one, so that'll allow us for this loop to go on forever. It'll never end. And then I'm going to put a prompt in here for the user to kind of, make it to where we actually got something being displayed when the code is done. And we're going to say enter the number that you want to take the absolute value of. And then after that, I'm going to do 2 \n to kind of make it a little neater. This will basically just obviously escape us down 2 lines. And then we're going to, at this point, ask the user, what number do you want to enter? Well, they're going to enter in a number, right? So we're doing %d. And then we're going to store the number in num, and we got to store it in the address of num, otherwise it won't work. Okay, and then after that, we're going to do two things. We're going to do an if, and we're going to do an else. So basically what we need to do, format this up, make it neat. Okay, so basically what we need to do, there's 2 things. Okay, if the number's positive, we really don't need to do anything at all. But if the number's negative, we need to do something. So in the values of this if loop, basically we're going to do this. We're going to say if num is less than 0, well, what do we want to do? If the num is less than 0, we want to make it positive, right? So we got to say result equals num times a -1. And basically all that'll do is just return the number as a positive number now, because I'm multiplying it by -1. As you guys should know from like math classes, when you multiply a negative number by a number that's negative, it'll make it positive. So this will be positive now. And what do we do else? Well, else there's only one other option. It's either positive or it's 0, and the absolute value of 0 is 0, so we don't really need to take that into account. We can just say result equals num. So that covers both sides of the spectrum here now. If the result is if the number is negative, then it'll multiply by -1 to make it positive. If it's positive, well, let's just store the positive result in result, and we're done. And then what we're going to do is do a printf now to print the output to show the user that we did this right. So I'm going to do a %n to go to a new line, or \n to go to a new line, and then I'm going to do some formatting stuff to make it kind of fancy. You guys might know this from math class. This is the absolute value bars. So I'm going to put the number inside of there, basically just saying the absolute value is this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few new lines to make it a little cleaner. And then the first number is the number that we're going to put in here is the number that we want to take the absolute value of. Well, that's going to be the number entered, right? And then the last number is going to be the result, which is going to be after the absolute value is taken. So now this code should run through, at any number that the user enters, it should take the absolute value of that number and return it. Well, let's see if it works, and everything should be hopefully okay. So enter the number you want to take the absolute value of. Well, I'm going to enter 234. The absolute value of 234 is 234. Okay, so just to show you guys how it works with a negative number, I'm going to enter negative 980. Negative 980, okay? So then it says the absolute value of negative 980 is 980. So you can do this with all kinds of, I could do that, and then I could do a negative 7865 or something, and then it'll return that. So you guys know it works, and this code will continue on forever. I suppose we could have added a prompt that said, you know, if you do want to continue to take the absolute values, and you could say yes or no, and if you did Y for yes or N for no or whatever, and if you typed in Y, it'd continue, or N, it would exit the code. But we just decided to make it infinite because I'm unique and I want to do things my way because I just said so. But anyways, if you guys followed all that, that is how you do a basic absolute value. Sorry, obviously this wasn't extremely complex, but hey, you know, we're going to get there to some of the more complex codes that actually will be like applying a whole bunch of stuff, and it might be like a couple hundred lines or whatever. But that'll be later on. My goal is, like I had said, I was working on some user functions for you guys. I hope to have those up by my next tutorial, available via, I'm going to make them available through like somehow like Google Drive or something. And you guys will be able to download that and follow along, because my next tutorials I'm going to use functions that I created. So you guys will kind of need those in order to be able to follow what I'm doing. So anyways, that's all for this tutorial. I'll see you guys next time.